How to control anxiety. I'm not going to talk about anxiety disorders or chronic anxiety, which has to do more with serious conditions like obsessive compulsive disorder, postmortem disorder, things like that. But I'm not going to go into much more details of it. I'm going to talk about the general anxiety, the negative thoughts that basically start interfering with our regular routine, and we don't know how to control it, and it start affecting our behavior, how we do it. I'm going to talk about it, how to control these things. I mean, there's so many different ways. You can go online, web is full of it. Doctors will tell you different things. If it's a chronic anxiety problem, then I will highly recommend to consult a doctor. And even if you need some medication for the chemical imbalance, is completely fine. Along with that, they also recommend you some exercises, things like that. So those can be very helpful. But here in general anxiety, how to control it? How can we focus on the scenario and not worry about and those feelings? How we catch ourselves, right? So one thing we have to remember, that we are consistently bombarded with thoughts all the time. We are literally, if you're awake and if you're sitting, there are thoughts consistently coming. It's just coming in, right? We don't know how they're coming, but they're coming right there. Now we have a brain, which is the physical part of our body, right? And then we process through it. The mind accepts it, and then we, depending on our mood or how we look at it, we process a certain thought to our brain. Now, if we consistently think about negative things and consistently process that through our brain, it can really affect our emotional state. So how to control anxiety mentally? I mean, we have to understand the thought process, how it comes, and what things we have to process through our brain. It comes with a lot of practice. I mean, all these meditation, yoga, exercises, things like that, the whole purpose of that is to focus, to stop those thoughts, to actually look with it, so you can literally focus and ignore all the remaining thoughts that are coming there, right? Like, don't listen to the noise, they're in the background. So mentally, we have to think about all the things. First, what's causing an anxiety, we can write on a piece of paper, and we can actually start finding solutions to that. Like, if we are aware of certain things that we are worried about, right, we can write on a piece of paper, and instead of just consistently thinking about it, we can take in the morning or in the night some time together and sit down and write those things, and then start looking for their solution. Every day you can give yourself an hour, half an hour to think about that particular scenario. In that way, if you catch yourself with those thoughts again during the daytime, you can actually divert your thinking, that I will think about it later on in the night, or I will think about it in the morning, because you already know that you're working on them on a piece of paper. You're coming to a solution to that. You don't really have to think about it 24/7 at job, at other places, right? So mentally, we have to recognize how the thought process works and what things. Normally, when things have happened, like major events have happened in our life, stats shows that you are not going to have that happen again in your life. Most of the major event, like an earthquake, the entire family went poof, and then something else like that happened. All of a sudden, the economy collapsed and the entire business collapsed on top of you. Things like that. Like, so a lot of time, major events that basically cause you all this pain, those are one-time life events. A lot of time they don't repeat themselves, but the thought stays there, and it causes us also anxiety for the future, that what if the same thing happened again? How are we going to deal with it? So we have to understand the thought process again, how it works. We have to come to a solution to that. We have to actually stop those things to process us, and we can train our mind. So mentally, we have to do certain exercises. We have to literally sit down, calm down. Whenever we catch ourselves getting anxious about the things, or we catch ourselves overthinking about the stuff, we can do things like, we have to bring ourselves back to reality, that listen, this is the real time, this is where I am. Breathe. Like, all these exercises will help. So mentally, you have to understand that these thoughts, we really don't have to accept them. We can actually separate them from solution. And once you have recovered the solution, we should tell ourselves that, listen, it's not going to work like that. Like, we have found a solution to that, and I'm not going to think about it again. The other day, I was listening to a mind expert. He actually recommended that we should utter good things in loud voices, because it just increases the probability of that thing happening more. The same thing happened with the negative feelings. When we utter, which we mostly do, like we don't talk about the good stuff in our life, but we nag about the negative things. And what it does is, like, when we are worried about something and we utter it loud, it increases the chance of those things happening in our lives. I mean, this statement actually matches with law of attraction. When you consistently keep on thinking about some negative scenario, more than likely that will happen to you. So we have to stop our mind from wandering like that. What thoughts we actually process through our brain, we can actually control that by understanding the thought process, how we actually work, what things we actually want to do, what things we don't want to do. We can actually exercise on that. So mentally, it's extremely important how to control anxiety, understand your thought process, do some exercises, surround yourself with positive activity people, because that also helps you mentally. Because if you surround yourself with negative people and you are negative and you're having anxiety, that's also going to increase, your anxious mind. You're going to get more and more furious, and could be you can go into isolation because you're just so furious. You don't want to do that. You want to understand, you want to surround yourself with positive energy. You want to keep your thought process in control. You want to be in control of what are you putting through your brain, because your brain and your body can be, they're connected. If you are feeling good up there, your body will feel better. And if your body is feeling good, or if your body is feeling bad, for example, you're sick, right? You feel really don't want to really do anything. You kind of like give up there. More than likely we find an excuse. We are not going to do certain things because we are sick, right? So, but if we are happy, so up there, then automatically, our body responds to that, because we feel better, we feel good, right? And sometimes our body is feeling really good. And even we are tired, we in mind, like we've been doing mass all night long, but you still want to do it because you feel all this energy coming from it. You went for exercise, you push yourself, you got your things out, and now you recharge your battery. So, and then your mind starts working accordingly because you're feeling better about yourself. So these things are related to each other. Take care of both things, understand how the thought process works and how our mind is connected to that, and we can actually work on both things to stay mentally healthy and active.